I think we in the West have a tendency to polarize aspects of our experience that are really two faces of one reality. So we tend to think of the individual and the collective as different. We tend to think of the inner world and the outer worlds as different. And yet, in my experience, increasingly, I have come to see and experience and understand these as different faces of one reality. So I think there's a deep hunger in cultures all around the world now to heal this split, between our outer lives and our inner lives, between science and spirituality, between the sacred and the secular, and to once again have personal lives, have relationships, have communities, have cultures that reflect a deep integrated experience and understanding of the oneness of this experience. For many of us, there's a sense of meaninglessness or lack of meaning in our lives that we seek to assuage, first through distractions of all kinds, through addictions, through losing ourselves in all of the different kinds of entertainment that the culture offers, but which fundamentally can only be satisfied, through a turn to something more genuine in ourselves and in our relationships. So there's that very personal hunger that derives from our own personal suffering. I think there's also a recognition, increasing recognition on the part of many, that it's not just we who are suffering, but it's others as well, and it's the earth as a whole that is suffering. And I think our experience of that suffering, of the suffering of our greater body, if you will, of our greater self, if you will, also inspires many to turn toward deeper sources of meaning. And in addition to the suffering, I think there is that in us which knows, that there is a different way to be, a different way to live, a different way to relate to others and the planet. And I think part of the longing, part of the yearning that many people feel these days is simply an expression of that deep and innate knowing, and a yearning for a different kind of life that in many respects I think we already know how to live if given the chance. When we see problems as something out there to be fixed, we often dissociate them from ourselves and our own experience and our own part in them. And so recognizing that in fact we are actually deeply embedded in the world that we are trying to change begins to make an enormous difference in how we think about strategies for change. So this phrase from Gandhi that is very popular now, be the change you want to see in the world, I think reflects this. And it suggests that even in these very ordinary moments of conversation and connection between two people, as we're experiencing right now, a different quality of attention, a different quality of presence can be present that begins to shift what can open up within and between us, and therefore what becomes possible in terms of how we think about ourselves and the world at large.